welcome to the Goldberry Artisans podcast. This is a podcast all about knitting and other fiber-related crafts, and about learning as you go and being okay with making mistakes. My name is Emily. I'm coming to you from the beautiful state of Maine, and you can find show notes for this episode at goldberryartisans.com. I'm on Instagram as Goldberry Artisans and on Ravelry as Emily Ruth B. Thank you so much for watching. Whether you're a new viewer or a returning viewer, just thank you so much. And I love connecting with anybody. I love connecting with people, fiber people. It's so nice to find people who understand your love for craft. So feel free to reach out to me in any of the places I mentioned or here in YouTube comments. So I am joined today by Gridley, our family dog. You can see his tail over there. He makes noise, that's what it is. Alright. Let me find my notebook here. I can't believe it's been like almost exactly a month since I last recorded like a normal podcast episode. I did release one vlog this week. I had all the footage for it for a while, but the issue was I have a new computer now. My sister had bought a new one, and so I kind of bought hers from her. And I'm being honest here, I was using Windows Movie Maker to edit podcasts and vlogs. It worked, whatever. But I was not able to get that on this new computer. So I've been playing around with another program called Lightworks, which now that I've kind of got the hang of it, I like it. My issue was that there's issues with the audio and video syncing up. Like, it would start out a video clip and like the audio would be lined up, but then like the longer the video of you talking went on, the more off the voice got, and that does not make for a good podcast or vlog. So I had my techie brother help me figure it out. So it should be good to go now. I hope so. So yes. But then, so I had been wanting to get on a more routine schedule of recording, but then I was thinking about how I always hear like podcasters apologize for being like, oh, I know this isn't like my normal day for podcasting. And then it takes me like at least 4 days to catch up on I don't watch things until like at least 4 days after they've been like released on YouTube or whatever, since they've been uploaded. It just takes, I always feel like I'm playing catch up, so then I never really notice that people have a consistent posting schedule. But anyway, the posting schedule is more for me to sort of have a goal of getting things done by a certain time. But anyway, enough of that. It is time to dive into knitting. Alright, so I have 2 finished objects this week. The first one is not one that I've actually talked about before. Yes, I did mess up the color work. This is I don't know exactly how to say it. I believe it's called Pisco's Hat by Alicia Plummer. I've been calling this my cinnamon sugar hat just because of the colors. This was one, I had started it with some scraps of bulky yarn, and I had started this back in the winter time, and I had been using a gray color for the background and this white as the contrast color. But I ran out of the gray, here. So it sat in my basket for a long time, and then I finally took it, pulled it out, and used the white yarn for the background and this brown yarn for the contrast, and then I didn't have enough of the white yarn to do the top decreases, so I just used the brown. The white yarn is Knit Picks Brava Bulky. Honestly, the brown yarn, it's Lion brand. Might be one of their Wool Ease ones, I don't remember. I bought a few skeins of just bulky yarn to make some hats for Christmas last year, and this was left over. And I'm thinking about a pom-pom. I honestly do not own a hat with a pom-pom. Have never worn a hat for a long period of time with a pom-pom. But I am thinking about putting one on top of here. I might have enough of the white to do one, or I might do one in the brown. I haven't decided yet. But I did the bulk of this knitting, I did all, I don't know, all but like 3 rows of the color work to the last decrease in one day. So very quick knit, super fun. I did mess up the color work. As you can see, this is not the same as this. I missed a row in here, a row or two, I don't remember, but oh well. It's a hat. Kind of looks like it's on purpose, right? So that is finished object number 1. My second finished object is my vest. So this, I've been calling this my Buttercup vest, inspired by Buttercup from The Princess Bride. The pattern is, Brookdale. The Brookdale vest by Elizabeth Smith from the Main Knits book. It's done, it's even blocked with the ends woven in. It's so exciting. So yeah, I finished this a little while ago, and then finally get around to blocking it this week. So yeah, I didn't block it very hard. I just laid it out flat, but what I did do was fold this over, because when I initially tried it on, after I had finished it, this was just sticking up straight, this neckband, but I blocked it so the top part will kind of fold over so that it's not so high on my neck and rubbing against my neck. I knit this using Knit Picks Wool of the Andes worsted, which I had never used before, but was kind of testing it out on this vest. I love their color. Knit Picks does a great job with heathered colors. It's kind of like a coppery, brown, red with some yellows, and I just really like it. Love the color. I believe this is the Amber Heather colorway. This pattern has some great details, like this little just rectangle garter stitch right there, and a really neat construction, which meant nothing had to be seamed except for this top part right here. So yes, anyway, I was talking about the yarn. So it was definitely fun to use. I liked working with it. It's not soft. It did soften up with blocking though. When I first put it on after I'd finished it, I was really worried about this neck band, because I put it on and it was sticking straight up and it was just rubbing against my neck, and I knew that was going to, it wasn't soft enough for, I mean, I can deal with more, with like rougher yarns like on my arms than I can on my neck. But now that it's blocked, it should be fine. And honestly, half the time I'll probably wear this like over a collared denim shirt anyway. But yeah, the yarn was fun to work with. Definitely a very economical yarn. I haven't worn this yet. I can't really speak about how well it wears. But yeah, a fun yarn to use with lots of colorways, which should be good for color work patterns, I'm sure. So that is it for finished objects. The projects that I have on the needles, I'll just start with the smallest and work my way up. If I can get it untangled. So, up till now, I have been following the pattern called the Time Traveler Cowl. Right now, it's just sort of a time traveler accessory. I have not decided totally whether it's going to be a hat or a cowl. Be very close-fitting cowl. I've tried it on my head, and it would work as a hat, like it's hat size. My one concern would be that since part of the pattern is a sort of ribbed stitch pattern, I'd be concerned about it contracting and pulling up in my head. There's these stockinette sections in here, but then that part is ribbed, so I don't really know. So this is the hat so far. I haven't decided. I might do decreases for the top. I really like the top decreases on this hat. Just how it didn't get super domed. It just kind of makes a nice flat top. So I'm thinking, because it's stretchy, but I don't think it would necessarily make a good slouchy hat. So I think I might do one more repeat of the cable pattern and then finish it like a hat. I haven't decided yet. I still have quite a bit of the yarn left, so I can always cast on another project and actually make a full cowl next time. We'll see. The project that I've spent the most time working on, and I'm almost done. This is the Quarry Shawl by Bristol Ivy from the Maine Knits book. I'm using yarn from On the Round. I think it's their signature sock in the topaz colorway, and it is a superwash merino and nylon blend, but it doesn't feel nearly as slick as a lot of other superwash merinos. So I didn't even realize, I'd bought it a while ago, and then I didn't even realize it was superwash until I went to find the tag to write show notes for this. And I really like the border on the top. Instead of binding off all the stitches or continuing to knit and knitting a border, you turn it and work the border across the top of the stitches. So I mean, it takes a little bit of time, but it also means I don't have to bind off. I don't even remember how many stitches. Over 350. I just don't remember exactly how many. So it's almost done. Yeah, it's a good size. It'll be a nice shawl for fall. It's kind of a fall colorway, but I wanted to use the yarn, so I thought about saving it for fall knitting, but I decided to just cast on anyway. So this was the project that I spent the most time working on this month. The last project that I have on my needles is my sweater. Since last time, I have finished the back. It's very exciting. Massive. Although I kept forgetting what size I was knitting while I was doing the armhole bind-offs, because I had gone up a size for the sleeves. So then it had been a little while since I'd worked on it, and I kept forgetting what size I was knitting, but I got it figured out now. Because then when I went to cast on for the front, I was looking at the number of stitches in the ribbing, and I was thinking about on the back, like the ribbing, you know, I had a knit to at the beginning, not a purl to. So that I had to go back and check. I had written it down on my Ravelry project notes. So yes, I cast on for the front. I did maybe like 1.5 inches on this morning. And the pattern is the Stone Cutter by Michelle Wong, and I'm using Quince & Co. Lark, which is their worsted weight yarn, which I love working with this, and I'm super excited to wear the finished sweater. I'm trying to work on this while we still have some cooler days, because I know I'm not going to work on it once summer comes around. So I'm trying to get done on that, because I did the sleeves first, and I'm super glad I did. So I did the sleeves first, so I just have to finish this, and then I can do all the seaming and finish the neckband. Alright, and that is everything that I've been knitting. I did a little bit of embroidery. Like a couple weeks ago we had some days that were super warm, and so I didn't really want to be knitting. So I pulled this out. This is my Rejoice in the Lord Always embroidery from Clementine Pattern Co. And I worked on the blades of grass. Worked on these blades of grass down on the bottom, so I'm about halfway done with those. It's been fun to just mix it up and use some of the different colored greens for the grass, because there's no set, like, oh, use this color for these ones. So I've just kind of been making it up as I go, which is kind of fun. So not tons of progress on that, but I'll probably work on that a little bit more again once it gets a little hotter outside. And I did a small amount of spinning this week. My spindle is getting kind of full, and so I haven't quite decided what I'm going to do with it. I'll probably, once it gets a little bit more full, I'll probably take it off. I don't know if I should wind it directly into a ball. I don't really know. I should look that up. Because I don't want it to lose all the twist if I decide to ply it eventually. I don't want it to have already lost the twist because I took it off the spindle and spun it into a ball. So yes, so if you are a job spindler, but I don't know what to do. But yeah, it's fun to work on. Yeah, that's all I have for that. I still have a lot of the fiber left, so I can keep going for a long time on that. And, oh, so a few weeks ago I went up, there's an antique store just up the road, and I found some fabric. I mean, there's not a whole lot of information on this. It's got like a cute little packaging. It says it's 100% cotton, and each of these is 2.5 yards. So I have a total of 5 yards, and it's 44 inches wide. So I haven't totally decided what to do with this. I might make a scout tee. I do have that pattern now. Somebody sent that to me. So I might make a scout tee. I haven't really decided, but it was only $2.20 for one of them. Like it was $2.20 a piece. And I just love the pattern on it. I love the dark blue color in the background and the reds and yellows. So I haven't decided what I'm gonna make, but it's sitting beside my desk until I decide. So yeah, that's all of the projects that I've been working on. Yeah, I've been working mostly on my shawl, so I haven't gotten a lot done on anything else. But yeah, so that was knit from yarn that I had in my stash. I had been tempted to buy some yarn to cast on a different project, but I decided to stick with what I already had. Because at the beginning of the year I had a goal of knitting 500 grams of yarn before I bought new yarn, but that was just really hard to keep track of. I mean, there's no way to do it right on Ravelry, really. And I just would keep forgetting I'd finish an object and then forget to have measured the yarn before I used it, and then measure how much was left. It was just going to be really hard to keep track of, and I just never really did it. So now my goal is to complete 3 projects from yarn that I have in my stash before I buy yarn for a new project. Because I went through my yarn again recently, and I didn't really get rid of much because it's all yarn that I want to use. But sometimes I forget about it when I am looking up a new project that I want to use, and I think of a yarn that would be really good for it. Then I go and want to buy that yarn instead of maybe going through my stash and seeing what I have, and then seeing what projects would fit the yarn that I already have. Like start with the yarn and then pick a project, rather than picking a project and then looking for yarn. So I was in my last vlog episode, I had kind of mentioned some of the projects from the new Making magazine that I want to work on, and so there's the pair of colorwork mittens and the socks. I can't remember their names right now, but they're knit in similar colors in the magazine, and I have some yarn that I'm going to use as the main color, the blue color, in both of those patterns. I have some Quince & Co. Finch that I think will work for that. I have 2 skeins, which should be enough for both the socks and the mittens. I just need to find a contrast color. I don't know if I have anything white. I might have to go with a different color. Maybe I think I have some light gray Finch that I could use, or some pale pink. I'll have to play with that a little bit to decide. So I'm going to hopefully use that yarn to work on those projects, and that was one where I had decided that I wanted to make both the socks and the mittens, so I was looking up some yarn, thinking of, oh, well, I could buy this yarn to go with it. There's a website that was having a sale or something, so I was looking at some yarn, but then I decided that I would actually go and look through the yarn that I already had, and I had a beautiful 2 skeins of blue yarn that would be perfect. So yeah, so that's what I'm going to be trying to work on, is knitting projects with yarn that I already have, and kind of starting with the yarn and then choosing a project. Because I have a lot of projects in my Ravelry queue right now, and I have the yarn for them, but then I just get distracted by all the new and pretty yarns and patterns that are coming out and forget about the ones that are really, I mean, the yarns and the patterns are not very old, but I forget about those ones. So that's kind of, I've shifted that goal of, I still definitely want to be using my stash. And I know I've talked before about how sometimes I've heard other people mention this too, but sometimes I'll buy yarn to kind of get that little like excitement that you get like when you finish an object, when you complete a project, because sometimes when you're stuck in the middle of a project you want that burst of energy and that excitement, and so instead of actually working on something, I would buy yarn. So I've been trying to avoid that feeling and just maybe pull out a different project, or let myself cast on something new. I've also been trying to cut down on the amount of things that I've cast on, which I'm almost on that shawl, and I think I'm going to cast on a pair of socks soon, because that's been my my mindless knitting, because this sweater is definitely not mindless knitting. And even the cowl, it'll be mindless for a few rounds, and then I'm cabling 4 out of every 6 stitches. So since I've been trying to decide what I'm going to do with that project, I haven't been working on it quite as much either. Plus, it's been the project that I've been throwing into my work bag when I go to work to maybe work on during my lunch break, but that doesn't often happen because that's when I eat lunch. So, yes, but I've made a lot of progress on that shawl, which has made me happy. But now I need another mindless project to work on. So yeah, that's it. Just a fairly quick episode for today. I didn't have anything else I wanted to talk about. So I think that's everything. You can find show notes for this episode, anything I mentioned, on my blog, goldberryartisans.com. So I hope that until next time, you are learning from your mistakes and having fun just creating. Bye.